Hello, everyone. It's Linda Ockwell-Jenner here again with another SBCN Small Biz podcast. As you probably remember, for the past 3 weeks, we've been interviewing, talking to our SBCN members who are experts in some way. So today I'm quite thrilled to have Andrew Leith with us, who is, I believe, an expert in leadership and a lot of other things. And I want Andrew to tell you a little bit more about his business. So for now, hello, Andrew. How are you today?
As always, such an amazing welcome. Linda, thank you so much to having me on the show and to the SBCN community. Hello.
Oh, thank you. So we have quite a big range of people who are listening to this podcast, and also, as you know, Andrew, it's on Apple and Spotify and a lot of other, platforms. Why I wanted you to, as an SBC member, to be one of our leadership experts and offer us lots of tips and ideas how we can move forward, is because you have the most wonderful radio voice.
Sometimes it's all about the delivery, isn't it?
And you're quite the expert. You've been traveling around the globe, I think, at conferences and whatever. So I'm hoping you can give us some great ideas and tips. But for now, what kind of business are you in, Andrew? I mean, I know, but maybe lots of other people don't know.
Yeah, so I'm the president and founder of Octant Executive Advisory Group. We're a full suite executive coaching and consultation business. We focus mostly on revenue strategy, but also leadership development. And so, a lot of the lessons that we've learned and that we help our customers to learn stem really back from my time in corporate, dealing with software companies, being involved in rapid scaling, working with equity. And so a lot of it is how can we do more with what we already have and utilize the processes and strategies to their fullest in order to be able to maximize our efficiency.
Wow. And I believe that because of your time in the corporate world, you learn many lessons about what to do, what not to do. And also, not everyone has a pot of money or angel investors. So, what made you start your own business, Andrew? Was it because you saw this niche, this need for it?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think I had started to become disenfranchised with the whole corporate machine. Slightly before I opened Octant, I started to see that there were opportunities for greatness that were being missed. And although optimization was the flavor of the day, oftentimes people were the thing that were left out in the cold. And this was something that I saw time and time again. So these are values that I've injected deep within Octant to ensure that organizations are paying attention to their most finite and valuable resource, which is their employees.
That's really interesting. I've heard this a lot. So, would you mind, sharing with us what kind of things that they were missing out on, the employees, and then how do you encourage the employers to take you on and say, well, I can help you?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. So, from my time working with different companies within equity portfolios, I realized that rapid scaling was obviously the intent. But what often happened was rapid demoralization or deconstruction of what sometimes was before a very healthy culture. And
Wow.
so it was easy to see that the missing part of the equation of the three P's, if you want to say, we've got process, we've got product, we've got people. Well, we need to switch the order and make sure that we're putting people first. And so this is really something that I realized. And what that looks like is helping people to find their true excellence by allowing them to have ownership over projects, which increases their pride of ownership and in turn their ability to really give all of themselves to a project. You know, we've given ourselves to projects that we didn't fully believe in before, and that is never as gratifying as something that we truly want to stand behind. And I think as leaders, that is the real opportunity here, is to rally our people behind us, to lead by example and to create truly safe spaces that allow our employees to have big ideas and to shine where they're brightest.
So, would you say then that those kinds of organizations, mostly I believe you work in the corporate world versus the small business world, they have through you or before you came along, they are continuing to have a healthy culture, listening to the people that they hired to do certain work and not wanting them to be doing what they are told to do versus what they are best at.
Right. And I think this is a very fine line because obviously we have employees that we require to do specific tasks. And
Yeah.
so I think the real problem is let's right size our employees right from the bat. If we start labeling them and putting them in the wrong positions, it becomes more difficult for us to be able to fine tune that. However, if we take the time when we're hiring someone to ensure that this is the right person for the role and that we're providing them the right resources and the right management styles to allow them to flourish, you may see outcomes from that role that you had never predicted. And I think this is really ultimately where I'm going is we as employers have a duty to provide a safe space for someone to do the job we hired them for. The best leaders go above and beyond that and create the environments for superheroes to be born and to understand superpowers that they didn't know they had. And I feel that's when you've truly arrived as a leader, is when you can help someone to cross a bridge they didn't know they needed to get over, to become someone they didn't know they wanted to be, to empower them to be something they didn't think possible.
That's wonderful. And obviously, you are entering, as I say, navigating someone else's space, whether it's, the manager, the team lead, whatever. Do you ever find that, they're not open to a diverse culture and letting team members actually, how can I say this? Do what they're best at. Because basically, I know everybody, even myself, have to do certain tasks, and I don't like, you know, accounting and bookkeeping, so I'll pass that over to somebody else. If you tried to make me do it, we'd be broke. But it's not those kinds of tasks we're talking about, are we? We're talking about, well, if you don't mind me mentioning it, you do work as well with a lot of, and I can't remember the word used, Andrew, people who have gifts, but they do have a label. So how to get away from that label and let the managers or the team lead realize that they know what they're doing. You know what those labels are, don't you? Know the question
I,
I'm asking?
I do, but I was really appreciating watching you try to come up with the word. I think the word you were looking for was neurodivergent.
Thank you. I'd never heard that, until I met you, Andrew. I had never heard that word, and I am so thankful that you know what it's all about, because I obviously understand the diversity and that a lot of people have got certain, um, shall we say, I hate labels. I really hate labels, but in this case, it's the only way to explain to people what are we talking about. Do you find, you know, people who may be autistic or have other kind of, what do we say? Where do we go from here? This is why you are the expert. Do they get picked on or not seen as a good employee in the corporate workplace? Have you found that, or are they all welcomed?
Well, I think that by nature of different forms of thinking and communicating, it becomes difficult for anyone existing in a system or organization that is, mostly neurotypical. We'll say so. If someone is neurodivergent, they may have difficulties communicating their ideas, or they may not feel as comfortable communicating. So you mentioned autism. That tends to be people on the spectrum oftentimes shy away from communication, or certainly at least within large groups of people. And so understanding this as a leader innately gives us the ability to help put those people in situations where their excellence can shine. By not understanding the nuances of those people's ways of thinking and communicating, we could overlook some very serious indicators that may be letting us know when and when not to be utilizing this person in a large group setting, or highly analytical tasks that we may deem as being mundane might be the best task that that person's doing that day. And so we really have to ensure that we understand the people that are in our employment. And that doesn't mean that we need to go diagnosing people, because I don't think that's relevant. I think understanding that there is such a diverse plethora of people in our command who all think and see the world differently,
Hmm.
and providing the opportunity for those people to let us know what resources they require and where we're bringing out their brilliance and where we may not be. And I think this is something that leaders maybe haven't been doing as well of in most recent years, is actually stopping to ask their employees, is there somewhere I could do better? You know,
Wow.
these are my communication tendencies. This is what I default to because this is what I'm comfortable with. What
Mm.
in my process is potentially hindering yours?
Wow, because for the leaders, the team leads, the managers, whoever, to be able to ask that question of the people that they chose to do certain tasks, work, whatever, that is wonderful because, LinkedIn, social media in general, there's a lot of, people out there saying, why don't organizations hire more women? Why don't organizations, you know, listen when they've hired us that, we may do it different to you, but it's not the wrong way, it's just different. So this is where you are storming this this arena and you are actually bringing the managers, the VP, whoever in the organizations to realize that they have gifts. They have so many gifts with their employees. But until
Yes.
you come along, and I'm sure there's other people like you, Andrew, but you're my favorite. You're my person who enlightened me. No, seriously. As a member of the SBCN and a relatively, I guess, still not still a new member, but quite a new member, basically you've opened my eyes to all of this. I'm very much about diversity, as you know. I'm very
Mhm.
much about me, for instance. I was terrible at school. I didn't excel. I was scared to answer questions. And over the past 20 odd years, I've still growing two businesses. They're still successful. One is more of a give back. The other one is more that, pays the mortgage. But basically, it's about diversity. And at school, I was classed as maybe an idiot because I didn't speak up and all the rest of it. So I'm so, happy that you're in this world and you're opening everybody's eyes to it. Are you enjoying the process? That's the biggest thing, isn't it? That you enjoy the work you are doing.
Without a doubt, it's the most gratifying time of my corporate or non-corporate career. I guess
Yes,
professional
non-corporate.
career is a better term of my professional career. Yeah, the conversations that I have on a regular basis overwhelm overwhelm me with positivity. The fact that there are people out there that are willing to find the light and to grow and to evolve and to become better individuals. Because let's face it, a lot of leaders are pretty great individuals, and it's easy to sit on the top of the hill and think there isn't room to grow. But there's a whole other plateau, there's a whole other level. And that's when leadership becomes service.
Love it. I could listen to you forever, ever. It's absolutely amazing. As I say, I think you're doing a lot to open people's eyes to the fact that diversity is good. We don't want any labels about what kind of diversity. I understand that. We're all here for a reason. We're all doing something different and unique to somebody else, and this should be welcome. And
Exactly.
until you entered this, our life at the SBCN and you start working with all these, you know, clients, I think you've really opened so many people's eyes. And I must say, I believe you're very much involved in CAPS, a wonderful organisation I was involved with for many years, Canadian Associate Professional Speakers. And you are a leader in that arena now as well. Are you actually voted in as the president yet, or is that an ongoing
I will.
process?
I am the president elect for the Toronto chapter in 2027. So I'll be supporting the current chapter leadership this year, and then moving into presidency in 27, which is just again such an overwhelmingly positive step in the right direction. You know, when you join a community very similar to SBCN and everything feels right and it's very
Oh.
welcoming and everyone just takes you in with open arms. I feel this is the CAPS community is potentially on a larger scale the only community I've met where I truly feel they accept me for and see me for who I am 100%. And
I'm
and
very
Linda, you'll
happy.
see the next evolution is coming, and the next evolution is coming. I feel it in my soul, and a lot of it is this drive towards the main stage and wanting to spread my wings as a speaker. And I know I'll always have your support in that regard because
Oh,
you've
yes.
inspired me to want to speak on larger stages. So
I think what stands out about you, Andrew, and this is good for our listeners to know, you're not a shrinking violet. So that means to me, you want something, you want to be successful in a certain area, but you know that you've got to step out of your comfort zone. And in the kind of work the leadership, you are definitely a leader. You're in the leadership, you're up there. It's not just about you, Andrew. It's never been just about you wanting to earn lots of money and be successful. It's the people you are helping. And this is the message that we get to the people who are listening and watching this video. And you'll be back in January with some really, great tips and ideas for our listeners. But to finish, in closing, what words of wisdom would you offer to someone out there, whether they are from the corporate world jumping into something like you're doing, or anybody who wants to start a business? Words of wisdom before we close our wonderful conversation.
Oh, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak my genuine voice in this moment because I want you to know how difficult that has been throughout my corporate life. And I know you know that.
Yeah.
And so for anyone that's listening, I want you to know that there is absolute value in every fiber of your being. And hiding an ounce of that for anyone else's benefit is only stealing joy from you and excellence from the rest of the world that needs to feed off of your shine. So do not dim your light. Do not placate those around you. Be the person you need to be, and the universe around you will be a better place for it.
Wow, what a finish. Wow, you've wowed me again, Andrew. I can't thank you enough for your time because I know you've just got back from travels. You're always traveling these days, but you never forget the people. You've made connections with, you're always there. You're absolutely wonderful. So we'll be back in January with another SBCN expert member. And Andrew, I can't thank you enough. You are absolutely wonderful. I'm learning a lot from you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And holiday season, Christmas, whatever it is you're celebrating, enjoy that time with your wife and son. You got a son, right?
Yeah, we'll
Because
be gathered around the Christmas tree.
it's
Erica,
important.
Vance, my wife Anita, and myself, and spending valuable time with family and friends. But yes, this has been a wonderful experience. As always, Linda, I appreciate you for peering a little further into my soul and allowing me to bear it here on the SBCM podcast.
That's why I love you, because you're very authentic. And on that note, we'll finish and have a wonderful day, everyone.